Young Alexander Hamilton dreamed of elevating his status through the engagement of war. As captain of New York Artillery, Hamilton was noticed and honored to become aide de camp of General Washington. After the war, Hamilton crafted his ideas into the U.S. Constitution and Federalist Papers. As Treasury Secretary, he further united the states through a strong central currency. Experience Alexander Hamilton Live.
Okay.
I
Do
heard
you
there was a lot of fun stuff with Alexander Hamilton. He wrote a lot of letters. Or no, what he did was okay, I actually just came here because I saw this was interesting, but from the play or the musical, um I learned that he he was kind of stubborn in his own way. That he was accused of stealing the treasury, and to prove his innocence, he instead publicized his affair. Is that what happened?
Yes,
Or
that
did I
is
get my
true.
facts wrong?
No. It's I could add to that as well. Basically, there was a period when I was Secretary of the Treasury, the very first Secretary of the Treasury, and there was a marital infidelity that happened separate outside of my job. Eventually, this became public, but they used the situation of me paying the woman's husband,
Ah.
which was a form of blackmail, because he basically said that he would go public with this unless I paid him, and so I paid him. And I did not know that it was a plan between the man and the woman to create this scheme against me. But nonetheless, it was then stated that I was helping this gentleman with inside information from the Department of the Treasury, and that he can then use the money that I'm giving him to speculate on that information and then try to make more money. And that would be an illegal act. And if the very first Secretary of the Treasury was to perform such an act, then forever will the United States be tainted as unfair, where insiders really control the power of the government. And so it was very important for me with to 100% reliability to squash this idea that there was any type of financial impropriety going on. Of the founding fathers, I was actually the only one that totally divested myself of all stocks and interests in companies, of any financial dealings. I am a lawyer by trade, but I left my financial dealings completely separate from anything that I was doing. Of course, others like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, they kept their businesses while in office. I did not offer my services while in office. And so the only thing that I can do is to tell the truth, because the truth is always the best defense for honorable men. And so, though this was the least honorable time personally that I can proclaim the truth still will absolve me of the financial improprieties that I was being accused of as the Secretary of the Treasury. So I had a choice in my heart. Do I sacrifice my own family honor for that of the United States of America? And I can just keep quiet about it. Later on, the same journalist who outed my story, Mr. Callender, he actually wrote a story about Thomas Jefferson, which was true, about him having relations with his slave, Sally Hemings. And also that this type of affair existed with Jefferson's father as well. Jefferson took a completely different approach. When this became public, he just simply ignored it and let it die down. Whereas I took the opposite approach. I could not let this accusation, uh, the difference being this one was untrue, with Jefferson's being true, I could not let it stand. And so I had to do something. And so I realized that the only choice was to promote the truth. which was that I simply had an affair whilst I was in Philadelphia, and that had nothing to do with all of my. And so I literally published the letters that Mariah sent to me and copies of the letters that I sent to Mariah. I put 100% of the affair out in the open, and I put it into the newspapers so everyone can see that I am being completely honest in this affair, but not, but the financial dealings of the United States are firm and solid, and that I am acting in a very honorable capacity in this way.
Cool. I gotcha.